Today we will take a look at the best camera for beginners in 2021. If you want to find more information, check out links down below. 5. Nikon ZFC. The Nikon ZFC is a triumphant design that offers a different shooting experience to the Nikon Z50 at a great price. The vari-angle screen is also an inspired choice that embodies Nikon's old meets new fusion concept. More advanced photographers might miss the lack of weatherproofing and a larger full-frame sensor, especially considering current native lens availability. But for everyone else, the ZFC is a great mix of retro design and mirrorless shooting power. You don't have to be a fan of the Nikon FM2 to appreciate the design of the Nikon ZFC. It's a beautiful-looking camera. We remember the Nikon FM2 well, an aspirational camera for enthusiasts, and the attention to detail in reimagining the FM2 for today is painstakingly admirable. There is everything to like about the Nikon ZFC. From the front, it's virtually the same dimensions as the FM2, meaning this is one dinky camera, barely a handful. Its form factor, design cues, everything sings FM2. Even the typography is inspired by it. With the same 20.9 million pixel APS-C sensor as the Nikon Z50, we can expect the same image quality from the Nikon ZFC. And aside from a few handling tweaks that may impact the shots you are getting, like the at-hand exposure compensation dial, things are indeed the same, which is no bad thing. 4. Panasonic GH5 Mark II. The Panasonic GH6 may still be en route for serious videographers, but for beginners and those looking to get into live streaming, the GH5 Mark II is a unique mirrorless option that's the best of its kind. Its main calling card are built-in wireless live streaming capabilities, which you won't find on many other mirrorless cameras. These have also just been joined by impressive 4K live streaming powers, thanks to a recent firmware update. The GH5 Mark II is nigh on indistinguishable from its predecessor. It has the same dust-proof, splash-proof and freeze-proof magnesium alloy body with the same 138.5 by 98.1 by 87.4 mm dimensions, and at 727 grams, including battery and memory card, weighs just 2 grams more. To be fair to Panasonic, this is one area where change didn't feel required. The quasi-DSLR shape of the camera fits well in your hands, and all the main controls, including the large red video stop-start button, are situated within easy reach of your fingers or thumbs. 3. Fujifilm X-T30. Fujifilm has got plenty right here. A tough body, sound AF performance, great image quality straight out of the camera and lovely 4K videos, and all for a very reasonable price. We have some reservations around operation and the electronic viewfinder, but there's far more here to love than to be concerned about. The X-T30 makes use of the same APS-C sized 26.1 MP X-Trans CMOS force sensor as the X-T3, and this has been designed with a backlit architecture to help it gather light as effectively as possible. The camera also gets the same X-Processor Pro 4 engine as the X-T3, although the lowest sensitivity in the ISO range is ISO 160 rather than the X-T3's ISO 200 base, which is good news if you tend to shoot outdoors in bright light, particularly with wide aperture lenses. The viewfinder isn't quite the same as the one on the X-T20, however. Fujifilm has shortened the display time lag to 0.005 seconds, and boosted the refresh rate to 100 fps when set to the boost mode. The LCD screen appears to be unchanged from the X-T20's, with 1.04 million dots spread across a 3-inch panel that can be pulled away from the camera and tilted up and down. It also responds to touch, which allows the user to set the focusing point, zoom into images quickly to check details, and swipe through everything they capture. 2. Olympus OMD EM10 Mark IV. The EM10 Mark IV is an easy camera to overlook, but if you're looking for a small, stills-focused camera, it deserves serious consideration. Olympus has carefully refined this model over the years, keeping a strong focus on taking beautiful pictures. Its combination of a 20MP micro four thirds sensor, 3-inch flip-down touchscreen and 5-axis in-body image stabilization put it in a different league to smartphones and most pocket cameras. If you're a beginner or enthusiast who's looking to take the next step up in photography, this is a brilliant option. The EM10 Mark IV is Olympus' answer to cameras like the Panasonic Lumix G100, Fujifilm X-T200 and Sony ZV-1. And it manages to stand out with its classic OMD styling, super compact body and that excellent IBIS system. The 20MP resolution isn't going to grab any headlines, but it's a significant and welcome step up over its predecessor's 16MP sensor, and keeps it within range of the competition. While it's a great first camera for beginners, we'd also recommend the EM10 Mark IV to more experienced photographers on a budget or those looking to downsize from a DSLR. It doesn't deliver the battery or image quality performance of high-end mirrorless cameras or DSLRs, but it could be a great option as a recce or second camera. The first thing that strikes you about the EM10 IV is its diminutive size. It's small enough to fit into the pocket of regular fit trousers, and that's with its 14-42mm Mzu Eco f3.5-5.6 pancake kit lens attached. The EM10 Mark IV is the most photocentric camera in its category. While its rivals are more geared towards video shooters, this camera wants to be a great stills camera first and foremost, and it does a solid job. 1. Fujifilm X-T200. Where Fujifilm fell just short of hitting the mark with the X-T100, the company has succeeded the second time round. As a pared-back version of the X-T30, the X-T200 makes for a much better entry-level camera than its predecessor thanks to its better autofocus performance, superior video prowess and its burst of speed. But little niggles like an unreliable eye sensor and an uncomfortably placed joystick diminish the advantages of having a viewfinder. It's hard to justify spending top dollar on a high-end kit when there are more affordable options available like the X-T200, but while it appears great on paper, it doesn't quite match up with the X-T30. Firstly, it doesn't use the same X-Trans CMOS sensor you'll find in Fujifilm's high-end cameras. Instead, there's a revised version of the APS-C CMOS image sensor found in the X-T100, the upgrade here being the use of copper wiring rather than aluminum. The improvements to the sensor means the readout from the camera is now 3.5x faster than the X-T100 and ups the maximum ISO value to 25,600. It's a similar upgrade that the XA7 also boasts over the XA5, and we found that the improved sensor produced some excellent results. There are major physical differences between the X-T200 and its predecessor, and the first one you'll notice is the deeper, beefier grip. This makes it a more ergonomic entry-level option if you see yourself holding a camera for long periods of time. The thumb rest on the back panel isn't well positioned, mostly because the display takes up a majority of the space on the rear of the camera, something we complained about in the XA7 as well. The sensor is just one of many improvements the X-T200 has over its predecessor.